Hi, this is Nana Tosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. Looking at fire potential impacts for the next few days, we have quite a bit going on. There is a bit of moisture in place across the Great Basin today. As a result, we will see a mix of wet and dry storms across areas in yellow, with a pretty widespread area of mostly dry thunderstorms across much of Utah, Nevada, into the Arizona Strip and far southern Idaho today. As we move into Thursday, that moisture increases and storms will become more of a mix of wet and dry. However, we are still looking at the potential for some dry storms across the central Idaho mountains. And then moving into Friday, that storm threat shifts to the east, and those storms will be mostly wet and dry. As is typically the case with thunderstorms, we are expecting some really gusty outflow winds near the thunderstorms, especially today as the lower atmosphere is drier, and that leads to gustier winds. Over the past 24 hours, we did have a bit of storm activity, well, quite a bit of lightning across the central Idaho mountains and into far western Idaho and northwestern Nevada. There were some storms that did see some heavier precipitation, but also quite a bit of dry lightning with that as well. Fire activity continues to ramp up across the Great Basin with some new fires in red on the map. ERCs continue to rise due to the hot and dry conditions that have been in place for quite some time. A large portion of Utah is now looking at ERC percentiles above that 97th percentile category. Up into Idaho, things are also increasing pretty dramatically with quite a few locations above that 90th percentile. Looking at those ERCs in more detail, GB10, which is western Wyoming, was right around normal for much of the year, even a little bit below normal, but has recently seen an increase in ERCs, which has driven it to above normal levels. And GB20, which is expected to see dry lightning today, is also near record percentile or record ERC values. Satellite this morning shows high pressure in place across the central part of the Great Basin. There is moisture underneath that high pressure ridge, and you can see some activity on the satellite already with that moisture in place. For today, with that map on the left, again the green shows where the moisture is and quite a bit in place. This is mostly upper level moisture, which is leading to the concern for the potential for dry thunderstorms today. You can see a pretty large portion of the area highlighted with a high risk for lightning today. Looking at today in more detail, winds overall are not expected to be too strong. However, the exception to that is near thunderstorms where winds could be very, very gusty. Relative humidities are generally in the 15% range today. And then looking at the areas expected to see precipitation, you can see that on the map there on the left. So moving to Thursday, we keep that moisture in place across the Great Basin. All of Nevada and into western and central Utah and eastern Idaho are under a high risk for lightning tomorrow with that moisture in place across the area. With those thunderstorms tomorrow, we are expecting some really gusty outflow winds in the vicinity of those storms again. Relative humidity has come up quite a bit today into tomorrow. You can see those higher minimum RH values across portions of Utah. So that's really good news because we could see some pretty good overnight recoveries tonight into tomorrow. Then as far as precipitation, with that moisture increasing, storms will trend much wetter across the central and eastern part of the Great Basin. As we move into Friday, that moisture gets pushed off to the east. Nothing in for high risk on the map for Friday, but some of those southern and eastern Utah zones and the Arizona Strip have gone to the yellow category with the higher humidities and mostly wet thunderstorms expected for Thursday and into Friday. So on Friday, those minimum relative humidity values are still, for late June, pretty high across portions of Idaho and Utah. So that's good news for the larger fires that we have in many of those areas. There'll be another night of good recovery Thursday night into Friday. And then looking at winds on Friday, again, mostly light. However, near thunderstorms, winds will be gusty. And then looking at those areas expected to see storms on Friday, that'll be mostly across the eastern part of the Great Basin. as the moisture shifts to the south and the east. Over the next 3 days, most of the Great Basin is expected to see spotty precipitation. Central and eastern Utah, the higher terrain of those areas, will see the greatest precipitation accumulation. As we move into Saturday, we start to see a pretty unusual weather pattern set up with a really strong high pressure centered over the Pacific Northwest. This will lead to some unusual wind patterns that we don't often see across the area. We have a high risk issued for wind for Saturday for portions of Idaho. Then moving into Sunday, again, just that really unusual strong high pressure over the northwestern part of the country. This will lead to really rapidly increasing temperatures across the northern part of the Great Basin. Beginning Sunday, that continues into Monday with the high pressure in place. And then Tuesday, looking at the potential for some more moisture moving into the area. The 7-day period, the precipitation map looking pretty similar to the 3-day. So the majority of the precipitation we see will fall in the next few days. Finally, in the 8 to 14-day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures for the entire Great Basin. You can see that strong above normal temperature signature across the northwest, where that unusually strong high pressure system is expected to set up. The good news here is that area of precipitation across the southwestern United States, hinting that we could continue to see monsoonal moisture move into the southern part of the area. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.